Davidoff. Zino Davidoff was born in Kiev in 1906, the son of an immigrant who opened a tobacco shop in Geneva. He didn't just create cigars, he set the standard. Davidoff first became famous as an importer and curator of the finest Cuban cigars in Europe. Zino traveled to Cuba personally, selected the batches, and supervised storage. He was the arbiter of what was good. In 1991, he broke ties with Cuba. The reason was simple: inconsistent quality. Davidoff would not accept substandard batches, and Cuba was unwilling to provide special treatment. The break was public and dramatic, and Zino ordered the destruction of the stock of Cuban cigars that did not meet specifications. He moved production to the Dominican Republic and built there what is now considered the industry's most rigorous quality control system. Each cigar undergoes visual and construction inspection before leaving the factory. Any deviation is discarded. The result is a consistency that no other brand guarantees in the same way. Davidoff Signature 2000, around $18 to $25, Connecticut wrapper, smooth, creamy, cedar, and nutty. The brand's entry-level offering, and it already delivers what Davidoff promises. Davidoff Year of the Rabbit, around $40 to $60, annual limited edition. Each year, a different vitola, a different blend. Collectible, the kind of cigar aficionados keep in their humidor before smoking. Davidoff Nicaragua, around $20 to $30. The brand's less obvious side, a Nicaraguan blend that is fuller-bodied, spicier, and more intense than Davidoff's classic profile, for those who want Swiss precision with more character. Davidoff isn't the most daring brand in the cigar world, it's the most reliable. Arturo Fuente. Arturo Fuente arrived from Cuba and opened a cigar factory with very little capital. The factory burned down twice. He rebuilt it both times. What the Fuente family has built over more than a century is one of the industry's most improbable stories, culminating at a time when everyone said it was impossible. In 1992, Carlito Fuente, the founder's grandson, harvested the first crop of quality wrapper leaf in the Dominican Republic. This was supposedly impossible. The climate, the topography, the soil, everything indicated that the island would be unable to produce wrapper leaf comparable to what Cuba or Connecticut produced. Carlito ignored that, and he created the Opus 10, Arturo Fuente Hemingway. Short story, around $6 to $8, Cameroon wrapper. 4 inches, perfecto format, cedar, leather, bakery, spice. 93 points from Cigar Aficionado, the cigar that proves that low price and high quality are not mutually exclusive. Arturo Fuente Don Carlos, around $15 to $25, African Cameroon wrapper over aged Dominican tobacco. More complex than the Hemingway, more affordable than the Opus X. The perfect middle ground of the line, Fuente Opus X, around $30 to $80+ depending on vitola. The first all-Dominican cigar in history with wrapper, binder, and filler all from the Dominican Republic. Exclusive Rosado wrapper from Chateau de la Fuente. Pepper and cinnamon on the draw, leather and earth in the middle. Dark chocolate and honey on the finish, allocated to select retailers. When it appears, you buy it. 3 generations, 2 fires, and a cigar that changed what the world believed was possible. Cohiba, Cuba. 1966, a cigar roller named Eduardo Ribera began making exclusive cigars for Fidel Castro. No brand, no label, no sale. Just for the leader's personal use and that of state guests. For 16 years, Cohiba didn't officially exist. In 1982, it was launched commercially, but only for export. The Cuban government's cigar as a diplomatic currency. Ordinary Cubans couldn't buy it. What technically sets Cohiba apart from all other Cuban brands is the fermentation process. All Cuban tobacco undergoes 2 fermentations. Cohiba undergoes 3. This third fermentation is what creates the smoothest, cleanest, most refined profile the island produces. Cohiba Siglo VI, around $35 to $50. 6 inches, ring gauge 52. Cedar, coffee, subtle spice, creamy finish. The most popular in the Siglos line. The entry point to understanding why this brand has the reputation it does. Cohiba Lancero, around $30 to $45, 7.5 inches, ring gauge 38. The slimmest format in the line, more wrapper by volume, so the flavor of the outer leaf dominates. Considered by many Cuban aficionados as the definitive Cohiba format. Cohiba Behique BHK 56, around $120 to $150, the top of the line. Released in 2006, 100 humidors, 40 cigars each. Uses medio tiempo leaf, found only at the very top of the plant, in minimal quantities worldwide. 90 minutes, dark chocolate, espresso, toasted walnut, aromatic wood. Not to be smoked casually. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it now. There's plenty more content like this coming up. Padrón. José Orlando Padrón left Cuba in 1961, 2 years after the revolution. He arrived with nothing. He opened a cigar factory in Miami in 1964, the same year that gives its name to the brand's most famous line. What Padrón has built in Nicaragua over the decades is considered by many to be the most consistent aging system outside of Cuba. All tobacco used in the premium lines is aged for at least 2 years before rolling. The 1964 line uses tobacco aged for 4 years. The 1926 line uses 6. The result is a smoothness that young tobacco simply cannot replicate. Padrón, 1964, anniversary, around $20 to $28. Nicaraguan Puro, box pressed. Maduro, dark chocolate, espresso, toasted nuts. Natural, cedar, cocoa, leather. Number 1 Cigar of the Year by Cigar Aficionado in 2021, the 4th time the brand has received the title. The benchmark of Nicaragua, Padrón 1926, series around $30 to $50, the top of the regular line. Tobacco aged for 6 years, deeper, more complex, with a longer finish than the 1964. What happens when you push the aging process to the limit? Padrón Family Reserve, around $30 to $50. Small batch production, aged longer than any other line in the brand, all the layers of the 1964, more integrated, deeper, longer. Padrón is proof that aging isn't marketing, it's chemistry. My Father Cigars. Don Pepín Garcia left Cuba in 2002. Not in 1961 like most Cuban cigar makers who emigrated. In 2002, after decades of working within the Cuban system, learning everything there was to know about tobacco from the ground up, he arrived in Miami with his knowledge and technique. He opened a small factory. He began making cigars that quickly caught the attention of the aficionado community. What the Garcia family brought from Cuba was something difficult to quantify. A specific method of fermenting and preparing tobacco that produced an unmistakable profile. Dense, rich, with a hint of pepper and dark chocolate in the background. In 2008, they opened a factory in Estelí, Nicaragua, where local tobacco combined with Cuban technique created something new. My Father Le Bijou, 1922, around $11 to $14. Habano wrapper, Nicaraguan Puro. Number 1 Cigar of the Year by Cigar Aficionado in 2015. Dark chocolate, leather, cream, spice, smooth transitions between the thirds. The cigar that aficionados describe as the aha moment, when everything makes sense for the first time. My Father, number 1, around $12 to $18. Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, milder than the Le Bijou. Coffee, cedar, balanced spice. the most accessible introduction to the brand's profile, Don Pepin Garcia Blue. Label, around $8 to $12, the family's everyday cigar. Accessible, consistent, full-bodied. What Don Pepin smokes when he isn't smoking something special? Let me know in the comments which of these brands you've tried. I'd love to see where everyone is on this journey. Gurkha. Gurkha has the strangest origin story in the world of premium cigars. Founded in 1989 by Kaizad Hansotia, an entrepreneur of Indian origin with no family tradition in tobacco. The name was inspired by the Gurkha soldiers of Nepal, known for their extreme determination. What Hansotia did was position Gurkha as the brand of excess. Elaborate packaging, dramatic names, and unusual production processes. Cigars aged in cognac barrels. Cigars aged in rum barrels, limited editions with hand-carved cedar boxes. Some people in the cigar world don't take Gurkha seriously because of the theatricality of its marketing. Wrong! The product is the real deal. Gurkha Black Dragon, around $11 to $12 per cigar. Box of 100, around $1,150. Tobacco aged for 5 years in cognac barrels. The result defies expectations, an extreme process that delivers smoothness. Coffee, chocolate, the sweetness of dried fruit. It shatters the notion that an intense process equals aggressive strength. Gurkha Ghost, around $20 to $30. Connecticut Broadleaf Wrapper, full-bodied, dense, with a hint of pepper and dark chocolate, the brand's more straightforward and less theatrical side. Gurkha, His Majesty's Reserve, around $750 per cigar, infused with Hennessy Paradis Cognac, production of 100 boxes per year. It exists at the intersection between cigar and luxury item. You don't buy this to smoke every day. You buy it to have the experience once. Montecristo, 1935. The standard Montecristo has already been discussed in the context of Cuban cigars. This one is different. The 1935 line was launched in 2015 to celebrate the brand's 80th anniversary and represents Montecristo at its most refined and most expensive. The name pays homage to the year of its founding, 1935, when two partners, Alonso Menendez and Pepe Garcia, created the brand in Havana using personally selected Vuelta Abajo tobacco. The 1935 line uses tobacco aged for longer periods than any other regular Montecristo line. The wrapper is selected using stricter criteria: no prominent veins, uniform texture, and consistent oiliness. Montecristo, 1935. Leyenda, around $80 to $100. The top of the line, annual limited edition. Each batch is numbered. Flavor, aged cedar, nuts, fine spices, long and creamy finish. The Montecristo taken beyond what the regular line can deliver. Montecristo, 1935. Anniversary Nicaragua, around $25 to $35. A non-Cuban version of the 1935 line, a Nicaraguan blend adhering to the line's extended aging philosophy, fuller-bodied than the Cuban version with more pronounced dark chocolate and pepper notes. The regular Montecristo introduces Cuba to the world. The 1935 shows what Cuba can achieve when it pushes the limits. Plasencia. Nelson Plasencia isn't a brand, it's a family behind brands you've smoked without even knowing it. The Plasencia family has been growing tobacco in Central America for more than 4 generations, originally in Cuba, then moving to Honduras and Nicaragua after the revolution. Today, they operate over 3,000 acres of plantations across the 2 countries and are one of the world's largest producers of premium tobacco. For decades, Plasencia was the silent supplier. They sold tobacco to other brands, rolled cigars under contract, and stayed behind the scenes. Names like Padrón, My Father, and dozens of other brands have used Plasencia tobacco at some point. In 2017, they decided to launch cigars under their own name, Plasencia Alma Fuerte, around $20 to $30. Nicaraguan Puro, the fullest-bodied and most intense blend in the line. Concentrated, dense, with dark chocolate and intense pepper, made to showcase what the family's Nicaraguan tobacco can do without a filter. Plasencia Alma del Fuego, around $25 to $35, uses Ometepe tobacco grown on the volcanic island of Ometepe within Lake Nicaragua, volcanic soil with unique characteristics, a more mineral, earthier flavor, more distinctive than any other blend from the brand. Plasencia Cosecha 146, around $15 to $22, milder than the previous ones. Honduran wrapper over a Nicaraguan blend, cedar, nuts, balanced spice. An introduction to the brand's portfolio without the intensity of the higher-end lines. Plasencia is what happens when the family that used to supply others decides to show what it has always known how to do.